Hi, I'm Kat, and it has been a very long time since I uploaded a video. A very long time. The world's kind of a different place now. I'm definitely a different person, that's for sure. And I'm still trying to figure out what the heck I want to do with this channel. I was already kind of on the fence about whether or not I wanted to keep it going pre-pandemic, mainly because I just wasn't enjoying it, and the whole reason I started doing YouTube in the first place was as a hobby, so if I'm not enjoying it, there's really no point in me doing it. And then during the pandemic and the election and the widespread civil unrest and examining all these different parts of my life and dealing with a whole bunch of medical stuff, I've had several surgeries since the last time I uploaded a video, and life is just so different. I moved. Hagrid, go away. I've had a couple of surgeries since the last time I uploaded a video. I've moved. We have had our roof leaking for 6 months, which is a lot, and I'm still dealing with residual issues from my car accident. That's my cat screaming in the background, just being a jerk. Be quiet! And honestly, it's kind of hard to do YouTube when your whole life is just like perpetually falling apart. But at the same time, so much terrible stuff has happened to so many people during the pandemic that it isn't really even worth mentioning. Plus, there's also that element of like, even though I talk about my life in this channel, and I talk about things that have been very difficult in my life because I think it makes it easier for someone who's going through a similar circumstance if they feel like they can relate to someone, even if it's someone they don't know on the internet. And it can be a little frustrating when people go to your channel knowing that that's part of what you discuss, and then they leave mean comments on your videos talking about how you complain about things. I mean, tumors are kind of inconvenient, but there's just always going to be someone who has something to say. And throughout the course of my acting career, I've always kept it purposely separate from my YouTube channel. I started acting well before I started doing YouTube, and they were two very separate things in my mind. Acting it's my passion, it's my career, I've been doing it for a long time, and YouTube is a fun hobby, and I enjoy it, and I really appreciate my subscribers, but it's not my life, and I've always kept it very separate. And I live in a strange space now where I'm part of a larger community of performers, and I've been doing a lot of work with a grassroots group that is trying to educate our performers union about our contracts. So I have to have this public persona within the acting community, and I have to have a public persona as a performer because that's kind of like the societal expectation. If you're a very private person and you're a performer, then people always think there's like something wrong with you, but really it's just that like the general public is really creepy, and it's kind of scary having people know things about you. I also have just been putting my life on the internet for so long that it just didn't feel that strange because YouTube was so much smaller when I started, and it tended to create these communities in different like subcultures around what types of content you're uploading. So I was always like pretty firmly in the DIY space and like crafty stuff that I just enjoyed doing, and I enjoyed teaching other people how to do. And through the years, it's just gotten like so mixed up. It's gotten really mixed up, and I enjoy the content that I have uploaded, but it also makes me vulnerable in certain ways. So for instance, like recovering from this car accident the last 2.5 years, spoiler alert, I'm never gonna get better. It broke me permanently in ways that just keep getting worse. So that's been really frustrating because I can't even really discuss it in detail on my channel without the risk of the other party's attorney trying to somehow skew the information. I've had more than one restraining order. I've had multiple stalkers in my life, starting from before I even had any kind of public presence. And until those people are gone, that's not really over. Like, I always have to be conscious of making sure that people don't know where I live and making sure that I'm safe. So it's a strange place to be in, and I feel like I'm rambling, but I am rambling. It's because I don't even necessarily have it fully sorted out in my own head, like to what level I'm comfortable being public about the things that are difficult in my life, because I don't see any inherent value in being secretive about our struggles, if that makes sense. I've seen the positive impact that talking openly about my tumor surgery and the PTSD from the surgery going wrong and my recovery with that, I see that as something that can only benefit other people to hear about when I discuss it, especially in the context of I've never given up working towards my health. I've never stopped for 1 minute trying to get better and better and better, and our healthcare system is so at odds with that. It was just too draining to keep doing YouTube at the same time as trying to get better from the car accident and also deal with all of the residual health issues that I've had with my immune system and my allergies and all of this stuff, and then have it compounded by the emotional aspects of taking care of my mental health and the side effects of the PTSD from my surgery. And so I always compartmentalized before. I'd say, okay, I'm going to work really hard on the physical therapy stuff this week, and I'm going to work really hard on, getting my neurologist referrals this week, and dealing with all these different little pieces of my health at one time, because it is so, even with insurance in the United States, it is so cost prohibitive to actually see all the doctors that you need to see if you have a complicated medical case. And this entire time during the pandemic, I hear about people being bored and being stuck inside and having nothing to do. And there were months where I was spending 70 hours a week on Zoom calls with people with this grassroots organization for our union, for other performers, trying to make sure that people knew the contracts, trying to educate myself about the contracts so that I can make life better for other performers and make it harder for them to get taken advantage of by employers. And at the same time, dealing with all of my medical issues was like a whole full-time job in and of itself. There have been months over the last couple of years where I'm spending 5 hours a day or more on the phone just dealing with medical stuff or just going to doctor's appointments, and it's a lot. If you know people in your life who deal with a lot of medical issues and go to a lot of doctors, it's not just the appointments they're going to. They're dealing with, one, being unwell and how that feels. They're dealing with the uncertainty of having it not resolved if they're still trying to go to different specialists and get these proper diagnoses and find the right treatments. And they're dealing with insurance, telling them no every step of the way. So even if you get to the right doctors and they make a correct diagnosis and they try and get you the treatment that is going to work best for you, your insurance will say, oh, no, we're not going to authorize that because insurance wants you to take the cheapest route first and see if that works first. And I've spent so many hours over the last couple of years just dealing with issue after issue after issue with healthcare, and it's too much. It's not sustainable. I really don't understand how people who are not as familiar with the predatory nature of medical insurance companies as I am are able to advocate for themselves and get things paid for when they should be paid for and get things authorized when they should be authorized. I mean, I spent 2 weeks just trying to make sure that my insurance understood that the cheaper route of treatment that they wanted my doctor to prescribe before they authorized the correct treatment that my doctor really wanted for me was not going to work because I was allergic to that medication, or I had some kind of reaction to that medication. It made me stop breathing in my sleep the first time I took it, and insurance was still insisting that I take that medication before we moved on to injections. And it's that kind of stuff over and over and over that is not only difficult to deal with and time consuming, but it's also triggering on a certain level, because it reinforces the standard of care that I've received, which has been every step of the way being denied, being told I'm imagining things, being told that I'm literally crazy. I've had so many obstacles in between me and being healthy, and they've been there since I was like 6 years old. And I'm just done with it. I'm so done with it. And so I had to throw absolutely everything that I had at my health during this time. And it's one of the hardest things I've ever done, that's for sure. It has not been easy. It has been frustrating, and it's made my heart ache for the people who are not as well equipped as I am for handling these things. It's made me so angry with our US healthcare system that it's like this, and I'm doing much better than a lot of people have done during the pandemic. I mean, I realize every day how incredibly fortunate I am just to even have a roof over my head. I mean, I'm in Los Angeles, and there's so much homelessness and hopelessness, and some days it looks like very little is being done to fix it. So that's been like a lot. It's been like a whole other job, but at the same time, focusing on that and taking a step back from the things I didn't absolutely have to do, or that I just didn't even really have the mental capacity to do, in addition to all of this stuff, has been so beneficial, because now if I'm gonna come back to YouTube, it's gonna be just what I want to do. It's entirely a hobby. It's entirely whatever I feel like uploading. I'm not gonna make any promises of an upload schedule. I'm not gonna make any promises of even what kind of content I'm gonna have on this channel. If people want to be here, they want to be here, and if they don't, then they don't, and that's no concern of mine. And honestly, like, people can tell me in the comments that they are annoyed even by like seeing me tear up a little in this video. There will probably be those comments, and I'll just delete them. I'm kind of like getting to this place in my life where I just can't care that much, because there are so many other things I am occupying my time with and learning about and educating myself on that I just don't have the energy to worry about certain things anymore. And it's really freeing. It has been really freeing. And I just feel so different than I did before the pandemic. And like, now things are starting to open up, and we're starting to have more contact with other people again, and there are people who are just not going to be allowed in my life anymore. And it's a strange place to be, but that's also freeing. And during the pandemic and watching this civil rights movement gain steam and trying to introduce less educated Americans to these concepts of examining their own white privilege and dismantling systems of oppression that disproportionately impact Black and brown Americans, it's been so enlightening. It has been so enlightening. And it's also made me see, with this rise and these parallels between evangelical Americans and white supremacists, that's been a lot to unpack. And I think it's always going to be a lot to unpack for me personally because of my religious background. And I've been spending a lot of time examining my family cultures, examining my Mexican heritage and my Puerto Rican heritage, and coming to terms with how they are both shaped by oppression and colonialism, and trying to find ways to both hold space for my Spanish heritage, even though they are, the colonizers and the oppressors, and also giving myself permission to examine my indigenous culture and all the things that were historically suppressed by virtue of just not being of the colonizers. These practices and traditions and religions of my indigenous ancestors that have just been, that the colonizers attempted to destroy. It's genocide, basically. Colonialism is genocide. And I know these things might feel completely unrelated as I talk about them, but for me they are so deeply interconnected. All of these societal issues that we are facing with education, or the lack thereof, healthcare, or the lack thereof, women's rights, civil rights, gay rights, trans rights, and really, really taking a long, hard look at racism in this country. It is all so interconnected. And I guess between taking care of my health and my mental health and learning as much as I can about all of these things, YouTube just hasn't felt important. And in the space of YouTube, I've watched YouTube become progressively more commercialized. Certain channels, of course, as we know, have been super polished and created as a vehicle just for selling things. And I've promoted products on my channel. I've had sponsored products. I've done brand partnerships. And in some respects, I kind of felt like I just had to do those things because I had the opportunities. And I'm constantly, even now, even having not uploaded for so long, okay, my camera got too hot and I had to turn off. And I got cold, so I actually got myself some coffee. And it's so interesting. I'm talking about brand sponsorships, and this was actually sent to me as a gift. This is from In Bloom. It is Brain Flow. It says 2 spoonfuls to stimulate cognitive flow. It's vegan, gluten-free, and sugar-free, and 100% plant-based and GMO-free. It's basically like a mix of mushrooms that are supposed to help your brain feel better. Because, bonus, I now have, from the car accident and all the inflammation and it messing up my neck, I now have occipital neuralgia and trigeminal neuralgia, which is just peachy. So I'm trying the mushroom blend, seeing if it helps with certain things. I'm just on one quest for health after another. As I was saying, not sponsored, they're not paying me to show you that. Just thought I'd try it out and see if I like it. Maybe you'll like it too. But I don't just want to be selling shit online. And it feels like so many YouTube channels are now designed, and it felt like for a while my channel was designed to be like, okay, what can I do that I might enjoy, sort of, that is also gonna sell stuff so I can get another sponsorship. And I don't care about the money anymore. I mean, sure, if there are really great brands that offer me something, I'll do a sponsorship, but I'm not gonna do as many as I did before because it just doesn't sit right with me. I'm never gonna do another fast fashion haul, ever. And I haven't done one for a very long time because it just has never felt quite right. And so much of this is like from the education that I have been building through the years, but that really had the opportunity to come to a head or percolate or whatever in the environment that we have witnessed in the United States during the pandemic and the election and the civil unrest, and all of this stuff just coming together in my head at the perfect time to have this immense impact on me on every level. And I even started training with a new studio that has been freaking amazing, and discovering things about myself as a performer and an actor that are amazing, and the things that I struggled with in my performances, or connecting to my performances, to these moments as we're recording them. The things that I struggled with as an artist were the same things I struggled with personally in my mental health, in my physical health, and it's because it's all interconnected. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that I want whatever I create on YouTube to be informed by my life experience and by who I am as a person and by my values and by what's important to me, rather than what's marketable and what is going to get views and what is going to sell products. I guess if sustainable brands contact me, that's something I'm into. I can't remember the last time I bought a garment from a regular store. I joined a Buy Nothing group on Facebook, and I am happy with that. I buy thrift store clothes. I'll do like a thrift store haul for you, but I just don't want to participate in this culture online of endless consumerism and creating content just to sell stuff without educating at all. So something I want to steer away from, and I feel like I know more about what I don't want to do on YouTube than about what I do want to do on YouTube. So that's going to be a struggle for me for a while. I might do storytime videos. I might do DIYs again. I might do some sketch videos, some sketch comedy. There's a new influencer contract that is now available to SAG-AFTRA members, of which I am a union member because I'm an actor. And I think I want to explore that space more. I want to create opportunities for other actors as well that are protected by our union, because also during the pandemic and watching our economy crumble and seeing how weak workers are, I've learned a lot about labor politics. And the deeper I get into examining my personal issues and my family's issues and my health issues, the more that I see that I really can't ignore any one part of it. And I can't contribute to one negative thing without contributing to negative things everywhere else in my life and in the planet. And I want to change that. So I guess I took a really long time to say I've been gone for good reason. I've been taking care of myself. I care about my subscribers, but I also don't care about creating content just to sell you stuff and just for the sake of creating content. I want to enjoy the process, and I want to enjoy the things I'm doing, or at least gain some kind of insight from it and impart that knowledge to you. So I don't really know where this channel's going. I just wanted to let you know I'm back. I'm fine, I guess. Everything's okay. I have some neurological problems and constant 24/7 pain because of the car accident still. And that's probably not going to change anytime soon. This channel isn't going to be about my pain. I want it to be about the things that I've learned. I want to re-examine things that are important to me, and I want to learn things about my culture and myself and my history that will ultimately make me a better person and make the people around me and the places that I visit better. The person I was a year ago was probably scared by the enormity of her ignorance. And the person I am now is excited by the vastness of her ignorance, because for me this is an opportunity to learn, and I'm so excited by the things that I've learned, and I'm encouraged by the progress that I've seen around me and the communities that I've built. But I'm also awake in a way that I wasn't before, and if this channel seems different because of that, that's why. Thanks for watching.